Every now and then you chop a pot. Some call it a win, some call it a loss. I call it a kick in the pills. I got kicked twice this session, so I'm sharing my pain with you. With that being said, let me grab a new ice pack and let's get that bread. I'm in the cutoff and I look down at Queen Jack offsuit. I open raise to 5 times the big blind, and the button, who has not looked at his cards and is 100% on tilt, goes all in for his last $41. When it folds back to me, I ask him, "You want to stick around or you want to go home?" He shrugs his shoulders and takes a sip of his boba tea, which is more than enough confirmation that I need to do my part to send this guy home. I call and flip over my cards. The flop is no help, but I do spike a queen on the turn. When the river brings a 4, I ask him to flip his cards over one at a time for the suspense. He kindly obliges and flips over an ace and a queen. Absolutely ridiculous. He should play blind more often. It's always good to mix things up a bit and have a little fun. Queen Jack is about 58% against 2 random cards. I just lost a flip this time. Moving on. I lose a few hands before I pick up pocket 7s in the cutoff against 1 limper and an open raise of 10 times the big blind from a fairly tight player in the low jack. It's safe to put this opponent on jacks or better with some ace-king every now and then. I make the call, which starts the domino effect, and 4 other players call, giving us a 6-way flop. Set mining just got a lot more profitable if I strike gold. I don't hit my 7 on the flop, but it's not the worst when it comes out 9, 8, deuce with 2 diamonds, which misses the likely ace-x holdings of the pre-flop aggressor. If he has a big pocket pair, it wouldn't be uncommon to see him bomb a c-bet here, as a lot of low-stakes players will see this board and get scared of another diamond coming, and try to end it right here. If he checks, that could mean I'm ahead. The early positions check, and when it gets to him, he doesn't waste any time getting the rest of his stack in the middle and goes all in for about 160 effective. It's important to note that some players will sometimes make this play with ace-king, ace-queen, or even a diamond flush draw. If I were up against one of those types of players, I would still be in a bind here because there are 4 players to act behind me. But that isn't relevant because this particular opponent is the type who plays jacks or better, and then he jams. OMC level 1000. I give it a think as I run through my memory of playing against this player and eventually make the correct play and fold. One poor sap made the mistake of calling and lost it all to the low jack's pocket aces. The straddle is on when I look down at ace-jack offsuit from the big blind. With a couple of limpers already in the pot, I raise it up to 21 when it gets back to me. I manage to get the straddle out, but the +1 and the small blind decide to dance, and we go 3 ways to the flop. The flop is 3, 4, 5 with 2 spades. Generally, this shouldn't hit anyone with the way this pot played pre-flop. The +1 can get a little tricky though, so I decide to check when the small blind checks to see if the +1 position takes a stab or if he's already given up. To my delight, he looks to have given up and quickly checks back, bringing in a 3 of hearts on the turn. Look at that jambalaya right there. That paired board had to simmer just a little bit, but it eventually came on, and I love them paired boards, y'all know. Y'all know exactly what I'm talking about, don't you? The small blind makes a feeble attempt to steal the pot. He knows he's got nothing. I know he's got nothing. And now I have to let him know that he's got nothing. I re-raise about 1/3 of the pot. Now, for all you nerds out there thinking that the re-raise sizing is small, only being 2.5x, you would be correct. But at these low stakes, if you are paying attention to the player tendencies, you can get away with cheaper plays like this because, in some instances, just the act of re-raising is enough to take the pot, regardless of the sizing. I would argue that claim scales as you go up in stakes, but the frequency of success may narrow a bit. My min-click re-raise is enough to get the +1 to fold, and the small blind decides to Hollywood for a little bit, but he eventually folds as well. Ace high wins. Let's go. A pair of cute little red nine hoods pop up when I'm in the low jack. The straddle is on, and I raise it to 5.5x when it gets to me. 4 players come along, and the straddle kisses his chips goodbye as we go to the flop. I get the bottom end of a straight draw when the flop comes in queen, jack, 10, rainbow. You have to be careful when you have the bottom end of draws and not lose sight of the fact that even if you make your straight, you could still be behind. I like to bet here a small percentage of the time, if I have a good read on the table, that is. For the record, GTO says you should be checking here because so many likely combo holdings beat you and, well, you would rarely get to showdown cheaply. So, of course, I lead out for 2 gator teeth, about half the pot. I get everyone out the pot except for the short stack in the cutoff. He moves in for the rest of his stack, which is only about another 25 to me. Confident in my read, I make the call and flip over my cards. I'm ahead, and I have to dodge backdoor spades. My first kick in the pills of the day comes in the form of an 8 of hearts on the river. Chop chop, despite me getting it in with the best hand. The swelling has gone down a bit, and I'm looking to win a pot to ease the pain a little further. I look down at King Queen under the gun, and I open to betting with a 5.5x raise. It's a small party with 3 callers, and we go 4 to the flop. In early position, I like to check the majority of the time, and this time I check dark. I spike a king on a flop of king, 8, 3, and I can only hope someone takes my checking dark as being a lot weaker than king, queen. No one wants to pot, and it checks around to the turn card that is the jack of clubs. Since no one seems interested in this pot, I take the opportunity to lead out for a little more than half the pot. The other players disappear, and I scoop a nice little pot. Although the pain and the swelling has subsided, my stack has seen better days. Hopefully I can turn things around with 9-8 of spades from the big blind. It's 5 ways to a flop after the under the gun raises to $6, and I call to close the action. It's an Ashley Frank type of flop with an ace, 7, 6, and 2 diamonds. In an effort to buy another card, I throw out a 1/3 pot size bet, expecting most draws to call and aces to most likely raise. There aren't any players in this hand savvy enough to re-raise with their draws, I don't think. My play works, and I even get a few players to fold. With 2 callers, the 3 of us go to the turn that comes in the jack of hearts. I try to size up a bit here, though in hindsight, I should have bet bigger. I bet 25 into a pot of 60. The player to my right has been folding to a lot of small bets. He's the one that folded to my min click a few hands ago. What I didn't consider is the hijack sticking around. When he calls here, I put him on a diamond draw or a weak ace. He's been pretty passive since he sat down, and it's possible he could be strong. But having not raised or 3-bet pre-flop, I can't imagine he's too strong. This is where the larger bet, possibly a pot size or even bigger, would have probably taken it down for me and gotten him off his weak pair or his draw. When the pot is squared, the 10 of diamonds comes on the river. I made my straight, but if he was chasing a diamond, he just got it. There's a case for a check here. It's possible that any bet will get called or re-raised by better hands, with the only exception maybe being a big boy overbet representing the nut flush. But instead, I bet 1/3 the pot. This is another ill-advised play if you keep it score. I start to see glimmers of hope when I don't get a snap call or re-raised. He gives it a small think before making the call. I flip over the nut straight, and he gives me the old, "You play that trash line," and he flips over the same hand. Another kick in the pills, another ice pack to the nether region. I seek a little redemption near the end of my session when I pick up 2 red 10s in the cutoff. A few limpers are in when it gets to me, and I raise it up 6 times the big blind. No one gives a shit, and I get 4 callers. It's been a rough session, as every pot I have raised has seemed to... Oh, Gator! I flop middle set on a queen high board, and I'm licking my chops. I can only hope someone has something to stab at this pot with, so I can raise it up. Unfortunately, no one wants to represent anything, and it checks around to me. I decide to start building the pot now, and I bet out 1/3 pot. The small blind comes along, and the other 2 exit stays left. The small blind could be holding Queen X combos and even be on a spade draw. If he had a strong queen, I would think he would go for a check raise here. But with just a call, it leads me to believe he wants to peel one more off to either make or even improve his hand. The turn is a king of clubs. Though Jack-9 combos could be in his range, it's likely that he probably just missed his spade draw. If he was playing a hand like King-Queen, King-10, or even Queen-10, it's going to be hard for him not to bet or chance it for a check raise here. He doesn't want to leave it to fate, and he bets out for a little more than half my stack, making my choice an easy one to go all in. He calls with a single chip, and I'm fairly confident that he has a 2-pair holding. The river is a bit of an edgy one when it comes to Jack of Spades, so any weak Ace-X of Spades or 9-X of Spades makes a flush. With my set of 10s tabled, he shows King-Queen for a turn 2-pair, and I get a much-needed double up to get just about even. It's been a weird session with lots of mistakes, chops, and missed flops. I can only hope the next session is a bit more profitable and I am more dialed in. Anyway, thank you for watching. I appreciate y'all. I wish y'all the best of health and good fortune, and I'll see you soon. Remember, whole hog if you got it.